Are you hesitant about going to Japan with your family because literally everyone who's been there keeps telling you how expensive the country is? Not gonna lie, so were we. Until we actually got there and we realized that you can totally do Japan on the cheap. Not Southeast Asia cheap, but you can still do it on a really, really good budget. And it is definitely cheaper than traveling to Australia or some parts of Europe. I mean, I'm from Australia, guys, and if you've been here, you'll know that my country is a bloody rip-off. Australia! In this video, I'll be going through the cost of accommodation, food, baby necessities like nappies and wipes, the cost of going into attractions, transport, and staying connected like pocket Wi-Fi and things like that. I'm Tina from Hangry by Nature. Me and my squad of boys, we travel around Australia and the world to showcase to parents where the best places are to travel with kids, what there is to do, and how expensive it is to travel as a family. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to keep up to date with all of our latest videos to give you guys the best tips on where to travel with your little fam bam. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and comment below if you've been to Japan and you thought it was more affordable than you initially thought. Let's get into it. First up, accommodation. Because you need a place to sleep. You can't just sleep under a bridge. Well, you could actually. 4 words. Thank God for Airbnb. I mean, of course there's other options, there's hotels. I think for the most reason why Japan has always been seen as not so affordable is because hotels are damn expensive. Unless you want to bunk up in a love hotel, which I wouldn't recommend with kids, or in a capsule, which I wouldn't recommend with kids, or in a hostel, which you could do with kids. Airbnb is your best option, and it's your most cost-effective option as a family. So let's break down how much we paid for our Airbnb in Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. In Osaka, we paid 605 Australian dollars, 460 US dollars for 7 nights. The location was just a little bit south of central Osaka. It was only a 10-minute train ride to Dotonbori, or number station, which is the very center of Osaka. And from our Airbnb, it was only a short 7-minute walk to the nearest station. And there were stations pretty much around everywhere. So you could pick and choose which station you want to go to. In Kyoto, we paid 879 Australian dollars, which equates to 668 US dollars for 7 nights in our Airbnb there. It's located pretty much smack bang near the center of the historical part of Kyoto, kind of where you want to be to see all the sights and the temples and things like that. And it was only a 15-minute train ride to Kyoto station. In Tokyo, we paid 850 Australian dollars, which equates to 646 US dollars for 9 nights. Guys, 9 nights. Look, I'm not gonna lie, for that price, that's like 2 nights in a hotel in Melbourne. The location of our Airbnb in Tokyo was literally only 2 stops away from Shinjuku station, which is where it's all happening. You could also walk to Shinjuku or Shibuya Harajuku within 15 to 20 minutes. If you're new to Airbnb, make sure to use my special sign up in the description below to get a nice little discount off your first Airbnb booking. Another really cool website that we use is booking.com, mainly because you don't have to pay right now. So your reservation is confirmed, but you don't actually have to pay until you arrive, because who wants to be out of pocket right now? You guys can use the link in the description below to check availability and prices. The beauty of eating in Japan is that you have so many options. So there's different tiers for different budgets, obviously. So you can eat real cheap or you can eat real expensive, like send you broke expensive. But the option is there, which is what makes it so great. So for breakfast, we pretty much did a big grocery haul every week where we stocked up on milk, cereals, breads, eggs, bacon, sausages, you name it, everything for breakfast, which usually cost us around 70 Australian dollars for the week. Which equates to about 60 US dollars. For lunch, we sometimes went to stand-up noodle bars where you can get soba, ramen, udon for 450 yen, which is about 5 Australian dollars or 3 US dollars. The only downside is you kind of have to stand up and eat, but they're really great cheap options. Otherwise, you can go to places like Matsuya or Yoshinoya, which are franchises and near every station in Tokyo or major station in Tokyo, where you can get gyudon sets, which is basically like barbecued and marinated meats on top of rice, and you get a miso soup and a little coleslaw salad on the side with it for around 700 yen, which equates to about 8 Australian dollars or 5-6 US dollars. Dinner, we kind of usually got takeaway because we didn't really want to stay out too late with kids because they get really irritable. Parents will know what I mean. So what we did, one of the little tricks we did was we actually went to supermarkets at the end of the day where they have discounts on packaged meals, usually about 20%, and you can get packaged meals ranging from 300 to 700-800 yen. So that's literally like from $2 up until like $8-9 Australian. And then we just take it back home, heat it up, and we eat it. And let me tell you something, guys, they're absolutely delicious, and they are really fresh as well. And like the food that you get from supermarkets, the packaged meals, and I mean, they're pre-made, they're made fresh every day. They taste better than most Japanese restaurants in Australia. Not gonna lie. Sometimes we did go out and we went to like the Tempura franchise, where you can also get a set meal for around 700 yen, which is about 8 Australian dollars. So those were also nice cheap options to eat out for dinner. So on average for lunch and dinner, not including breakfast because we ate that at home, we would usually spend anywhere between 40 Australian dollars and up to 70 Australian dollars on an expensive day, depending on how much you snack, because you're gonna snack a lot in Japan because the food is so amazing, which equates to roughly around 30 US dollars up until about 50 US dollars per day on lunch and dinner. On that note, you probably might want to consider getting a pocket Wi-Fi for your stay in Japan to stay connected and to also keep the kids entertained when you're eating out. The average cost of a pocket Wi-Fi is about 260 yen per day, which equates to around 2 US dollars per day. You can also rent one for a month for around 30 US dollars. And the reason why pocket Wi-Fis are the most popular choice in Japan is because you can connect multiple devices to it, and it's super easy to set up as opposed to a SIM card. Transport. Getting around in Japan, definitely. The most common question is obviously, should you get a JR Rail Pass or not? Because they are pretty damn expensive. Now it depends how long you're staying and where you're planning to go. For us personally, the JR Rail Pass wasn't worth it. We were in Osaka, Kyoto and Tokyo, and the most expensive leg of our trip was basically going with the Shinkansen from Kyoto to Tokyo. And the thing with the JR Rail Pass is that you can only use the JR lines. We needed to catch some other lines which weren't part of JR as well. So you need to determine for yourself whether it's worth getting or not. But if you are planning to go to multiple places and you're going to Japan for like maybe 2 weeks, you want to go to further out places like Hiroshima, it might be worth getting a JR Rail Pass, so look into it. We pretty much bought subway/train passes on the go. So on average in cities like Osaka, Kyoto and Tokyo, roughly we spent between 300 to 650 yen a day per adult on tickets, which is between 3 to 6 US dollars, which is very cheap because our kids are under 3. They get to travel on the subway and train system for free. On an important note, you can also get day passes or daily tickets in cities like Osaka and Tokyo, which range from 600 yen upwards, which is about 6 US dollars upwards. But you need to check what lines are actually included in these tickets because not all of them are included. And there are a lot of different subway train providers in Japan with their own daily tickets. So we just found it a whole lot easier just to buy tickets on the fly, so we could pretty much travel on every line there is. The Shinkansen bullet train was probably the most expensive part of our trip when it came to transportation. It cost us 13,000 yen per adult to get from Kyoto to Tokyo. But that being said, that was a non-reserved seat as well. So if you want a reserved seat and guarantee that you'll be able to sit down, then you're going to have to fork out more. And the prices also depend on whether it's off-peak or on-peak as well. So our price that we paid was actually off-peak time. That can range between 13,000 yen right up until 14,500 yen. Another method of getting around is taxis. But if you are budget conscious, I probably wouldn't recommend it because Japan's taxi is considered one of the most expensive in the world. From Narita Airport to central Tokyo will probably set you back over $200 US. $200 US. And for cities like Kyoto or Nara, we would highly recommend renting a bicycle. You can rent a bicycle in Kyoto for 800 yen a day, which equates to about $7 US. If you need to get a child seat, that's an extra 400 yen, which is about $3 US. But that being said, you can also just carry your child in your carrier and ride a bicycle, so you don't have to pay the extra 400 yen. The cost of attractions in Japan. This is probably where you're gonna break some of your budget, because if you plan on going to a lot of these attractions, all the prices will add up. And chances are, when you're in Japan, you probably want to. You bet that you're gonna wanna go to an animal cafe in Japan with your kids. And they are totally worth it, but they can be pretty costly. So usually these places charge 1,000 yen cover charge, which is around $10 US. But the price of drinks and food in these places are also overly inflated. So you're probably looking at paying around $7 US just for a coffee or a drink. Theme parks are probably the most expensive attractions in Japan. So if you're planning to do all of them, that's where it's really gonna get expensive. So there's Universal Studios, Legoland, Fuji Q Highlands, and Disneyland, Disney Sea. So that is gonna get pretty expensive all added up. But on average, visiting a theme park will cost you anywhere between $40 US right up to $80 US for entry fee tickets. On that note, do check out our Disneyland Tokyo vlog, which I'll link above, to get a real good insight on what Disneyland Tokyo is like and whether it's worth bringing your baby or toddler there or not. You probably want to go and visit some museums while you're in Japan as well. And the prices can vary greatly, but look at paying anywhere between 500 yen to 1,800 yen for entry, which equates to around $5 US up until $17 US. And without a doubt, you're definitely going to want to visit all the beautiful temples and castles in Japan. So for example, Osaka Castle costs us 600 yen entry. There's a lot of free temples that you can enter without charge, but there are also the popular ones where you have to pay an entry fee. Roughly average around 400 yen, which is about $4 US per adult. And if you're visiting Japan with kids, you probably might want to go to an aquarium or two. So Osaka Aquarium, which I highly recommend as well, costs 2,300 yen for an adult ticket, which equates to about $21 US. Now, all attractions that we visited, our kids actually got in for free, so we only had to pay adult tickets for myself and Andy. So kids under the age of 3 get into most attractions free of charge, and then there's different pricing tiers for kindergarten kids, elementary school kids, and so forth. If you're traveling to Japan with a baby, you probably need some baby necessities like nappies, wipes, and some baby food, which are all readily available in shops in Japan. We paid about 1,100 yen for a big pack of nappies, which equates to about $10 US. So it's pretty much priced similarly to back at home. In case you're out and about and your kids' clothes get soiled and you don't really have a way of getting back soon to get a fresh pair of clothes, you can always get cheap clothes in places like Uniqlo and H&M, and the prices are fairly similar to what you would see back at home as well. So on average, we would usually spend around $40 US for the family on food for the day, ranging from $40 US up until $50 US, and then getting around on top of that would probably bring it up to around $60 US for the day, but that's not including any attractions. So depending on what attraction you want to do for the day, that's gonna add up your daily cost. But if we're looking at bare necessities, you can get by in Japan on $40 US a day, and that's the entire family. I hope this video can help you better plan your dream family holiday to Japan and make it seem more feasible, because we're breaking down the costs and dispel any misconceptions about Japan being overly expensive, because compared to Western countries like Australia, Europe, US even, it is probably very similarly priced, if not a little bit cheaper. From our experience, Japan was only expensive because their products, everything they have, food, is just absolutely amazing. So every 2 steps you take in Japan, you probably want to eat. Every 2 steps you take, you probably want to do something that's amazing and awesome. So if you have a smidge more self-control than we did, you can budget Japan really well, and you can probably do it for fairly cheap. We've got more Japan family travel videos to come on the way, so make sure you guys stay tuned and hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with our latest videos and get more tips on traveling to Japan with kids. And if you liked this video and found it useful in planning your next family trip to Japan, please give this video a big thumbs up and comment below and let us know what you guys thought of Japan traveling there with as individuals or with kids. Did you actually find it as expensive as people said it was, or did you find it actually a lot cheaper? Let us know in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next vid. You know it, on the flip side. I'm out.
Angry, hungry, yes I'm hungry. 매일이 작불이 미래 개불. 나는 없었어. 그리고 또 내게 쫓아오.